What's going on, guys? Welcome back to BTB RV Rants. Let's dive straight into the questions. So the first question is from a viewer who says that they recently saw a person who used their auto leveling system to lift almost all the tires, or at least half of the tires of their RV off the ground. It was a 6-point leveling system, and they're wondering if that was safe or if it was even designed to do that. And the answer is yes, it actually is safe, and they are designed to be able to lift the tires off the ground. In many cases, you can actually use the system to lift the entire RV off the ground if you're going to do a tire change or work on the suspension system of your RV. Now, of course, you want to make sure that your specific RV is equipped with a leveling system that is designed to be able to carry the entire capacity of your RV, but in most cases they are with quite a bit of headroom in terms of extra capacity. So I hope that answers your question. Now, the next one isn't really a question, but it's to address something that a lot of people, I think, have confusion about. A lot of people will have an experience with a brand or a manufacturer of an RV, and they automatically think that that one brand is a blanket experience across all RVs underneath the parent company. So for instance, if you look at brands like Thor or Forest River or Keystone, you automatically assume that every brand that they build is going to be a poorly built unit or are going to have similar construction techniques. And what a lot of people don't really understand is that typically a parent company is just that, and there are multiple manufacturing facilities that are used underneath that parent company that are all ran by their own management team and leadership team, and they make their own decisions on how a product is built. Not all the units are built the same just because they all carry the Forest River brand or because Forest River is a parent company. And that's the same with Thor as well as Winnebago and several other brands, even Grand Design. Grand Design has multiple lineups under their name, but it doesn't necessarily mean that every one of them is going to be built the same or to the same standards. So you really can't base an experience on one model under one moniker and blanketly say that they're all going to have that same issue, because they're all really built differently. They're all built, again, by different leadership teams, different materials. In some cases, they do share the same assembly line and they do share a lot of the same materials, or they share the same manufacturer distributor, but a lot of times they are built very, very differently. Now, the next question comes from a viewer, and it's a pretty interesting question. It's related to those longer full-size fifth wheel toy haulers and why they don't have higher cargo ratings, why they're generally limited to anywhere between about 2,500 pounds all the way up to about 4,500 pounds, but they don't go above and beyond that. And there's a couple reasons for that. First and foremost is most of the time they're going to be running 7,000 pound axles. So when you take all three axles, you add them up together, you're going to have 21,000 pounds worth of axle capacity. Now, on a fifth wheel RV, that's not going to be too much of a concern, simply because the vehicle or the truck is going to be bearing some of that weight. Generally upwards of about 20 to 25% of that weight will be on the overhang of the fifth wheel. On a fifth wheel toy hauler, a lot of the weight of whatever cargo you have is going to be resting directly above or even above and behind the axles. That's why you generally don't want to exceed your axle rating on a fifth wheel toy hauler, because a lot of weight in terms of whatever you put back there, whether it's going to be a side-by-side, a quad, motorcycles, a vehicle, it's actually going to be resting right above those axles, and it could even be transferring a significant amount of weight off of the front of the fifth wheel to the back wherever you have your toys. So when it comes to axle ratings, you generally aren't going to see too many of these larger toy haulers running 8,000 pound axles. If they did have 8,000 pound axles, then you would have the flexibility of having a far greater cargo capacity in the back, but also because the garage is in the back of these toy haulers, you transfer weight from the pin to the rear of your toy hauler, which again can create its own set of problems. So all that being said, that's generally why you see the cargo capacity ratings of these larger toy haulers relatively low. You're not going to see any of them in the 6, 7, 8,000 pound range, because it's very difficult to center that weight directly above the axles, even if they were 8,000 pound axles. And you have to be careful of how much weight you're actually removing from the front of the fifth wheel whenever you're loading your toys in the back of your toy hauler. So I hope that answers your question. Now the next question comes from a viewer who is looking at purchasing their very first travel trailer. It would be a Grand Design Transcend 247BH, which is a bunkhouse unit, has a gross vehicle weight rating of right under 7,000 pounds. It has a hitch weight of 546 pounds, but keep in mind, the closer you get to your gross vehicle weight rating, the higher your hitch weight is going to become. And it's roughly 29 feet 11 inches long, and they're basically referencing my videos where I talk about not towing trailers above 6,000 pounds with a half-ton truck. They want to know if they need one or another, basically a half-ton or a three-quarter-ton truck. In my opinion, if you have the option now, I would go for a three-quarter-ton truck. As a side note, you mentioned that you're going to be driving up freeways and mountains on a 6% grade. That's another reason to go for a three-quarter-ton truck with the larger engine. Now, whether you get a 6.2 or you get the Power Stroke, either one should be fine for that size of trailer. But what you're going to appreciate about a three-quarter-ton truck is going to be the larger brakes, the heavier truck, which will help counteract sway, and the better capacity carrying capability of a three-quarter-ton truck. So you're going to have a higher payload capacity in a three-quarter-ton truck generally. But more than anything, the extra weight of the truck, if you get a crew cab, the extra length of the truck is going to really help you out when you are towing that heavier trailer. Now, do you absolutely need a three-quarter-ton truck? No. You could probably get away with a heavy half-ton truck or a max tow equipped half-ton truck. But overall, if this is going to be your first trailer, I really think you're going to have a better overall experience with a three-quarter-ton truck, and that is my personal opinion. The next question comes from a viewer who says that they have a Winnebago Mini 2106D and they plan on towing it with the 2013 F-150 Super Cab with the 5-liter V8 and the 373 rear axle ratio, and they wanted to know if I had any tips or advice for long-distance towing. First of all, just make sure your truck's in really good shape. Make sure all your fluids are changed. Check all the different components of your truck that might cause it to be the limiting factor when you're traveling. When it comes to your trailer, you're going to want to do the same thing. Check all your suspension components, make sure that everything is properly greased up. If your tires are older or if you've had any issues with them, if they are a lower quality tire, it might be a good time to go ahead and replace those, put a higher quality tire on, and even consider carrying 2 spares around with you. Oftentimes people carry just 1 spare tire with them. When you have a blowout, you fix that one, but if you have another blowout, you're in a bad situation. So you may even be able to carry an extra tire in the back of your pickup truck for your trailer, but it's always a good idea. Have a battery-powered impact driver with you that can really help things out. Carry a good quality jack with you. Carry flares, different types of things that you might need if you're in a bad situation on the side of the road. That's one thing you really want to put some thought into. Make a list of things that you would think of needing if you were stuck on the side of the road in a bad situation. What you would need to have with you, whether it's a poncho, whether it's an umbrella, flashlights, flares, things like that. The main thing you want to be able to do is know that you can make it from point A to point B to point C with minimal disruptions. And if there is a disruption, that you have all the supplies you need to get you out of the situation as quickly as possible. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of BTBRV Rants. Please subscribe to my channel. Please take a moment and subscribe to my other channel, Big Truck, Big RV. Thank you.